This is Richard back at you guys. When you have one of these, summer just can't get here soon enough. Huh, Annie? Huh, Teresa? Yeah. We are ready to go play. Definitely ready to go play. We're excited to have a fresh car to start out this year and go hit the track and just tear them boys up that's been practicing for the last 2 years. Huh, Teresa?
Yeah.
But anyway, we are excited to have you guys back in the house. We got Chase's 80 model pickup coming. It's not here yet. It's a little short bed Chevy, 2-wheel drive, new 350 motor, 400 transmission. He cannot drive it down the highway. The gear ratio is just too low, and it's just easier to put a 700 in it and pull the 400 out and just put an overdrive in there and be done with it. So we're really excited to be able to do that job for him. Right, Teresa?
We are.
We are really excited. Now, he brought us a core. We have it over here on the bench. We're fixing to tear it down. The oil in it looks about like my diesel oil, so it looks pretty rough. Now, this is a TV cable operated unit. It's a 4L60 tranny. It's not a 700. It's not a 4L60E. It's kind of a mid-year tranny. It's a big shaft. It's got an auxiliary accumulator on the inside to soften engagement into drive when you put it in the gear. That's pretty much about the only difference. Clutch, they did a clutch change. Took the clutch away from the forward steel, or the forward wave plate, excuse me, and put it on the steel. So there was different things that they did do to it. This one does have an electronic speedometer. We're going to be getting rid of that because he physically has a cable operated style, being that it's such an early model pickup.
Was this just going to be like a little driver?
Yes.
Well, that'll be fun.
Yeah, if I can get this out of here. There we go. Now you can definitely tell it's got the goop.
And that is goop.
That is goop.
That's goop.
Like I say, we're going to get rid of that part, and then we'll put a gear style speedometer in it. Pretty nasty. The bushing is just about, all the dimples are just about totally gone out of the bushing here. So that's nice and nasty. Now this reluctor wheel right here will be switched out to a gear. Now this shaft, it does have a hole for it. Some of them will not have a hole for the earlier style speedometer gear that takes a clip. So we can press this off, scotch brite it up really good with a new gear, slides on a lot easier, and then we can use that hole to center the gear. Where a lot of the later versions, they did away with the hole completely, and just when you take this off, there's no way to put a gear on it. Now, anytime you go looking for your TV cable, we have found out that Advanced Auto Parts has the best cables in town. These cables are really bad if you get them from like AutoZone or O'Reilly's. When you're running them up here and you get them kinked a little bit or bent, they will not want to slide in and out of the cable. They will not want to move, especially if you get them in a little bit of a bend. You won't be able to move this. This one's messed up right here, but these cables are real soft. See how that is? The AutoZone and O'Reilly ones, the cable's really coarse and it doesn't bend very easy. So when you bend this, it doesn't want to slide and return back when you let off the gas pedal. So Advanced Auto Parts does have the best ones we found out.
Well, yeah, just because it says it's universal doesn't mean.
No, nope, not at all. No telling how many miles this unit's got on it. Some of these are pretty tough to get out. I like to just grab that little O-ring right here with my screwdriver. You'll see that. And you can pull it, get it hooked, and you can pull it and kind of move it like that, and then you can pull the cap off. Or servo 4th gear cover. And servo Now he ain't making 500 horsepower or anything like that, so the fourth gear servo cover and piston will be fine. We will be upgrading this to a Corvette servo here for your intermediate. And if you notice here, this is one spring that you always want to replace too. Overhaul kits don't come with them, you have to ask for it separately. But what happens is this spring will finally bend, and next thing this pin's sticking out like that, it'll just move around a bunch, and it's capable of coming over here and pushing on the band. So you always want to put a new spring in here. The 4L60 late model springs work really good to just retrofit right back in there. I'm excited to get inside here. Now we still are going to be running a 12 volt power to it, making lockup work and stuff on this one here. You can see here where the gear is starting to wear really bad. You can put a new gear on there. We have them over there in the drawer. The gear will come with a pin. It'll also come with the nails that go here. You don't have to change the nails out. It's not critical. Just make sure they're not just wobbling really bad or anything crazy. Make sure this piece right here does not wobble in here. It does not move. It has to stay solid. This gear actually, see that gear wobbling? When we put the new one on, it'll be stationary. It will not wobble at all. It's really nasty.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm getting a whiff.
Starting to smell it, Teresa?
I think I have.
Got plenty of goop in there, doesn't it?
I'm not excited about the pan.
Plastic pan. So you think the pan's bad, huh?
Oh gosh, I can't even imagine.
Ooh.
Yep.
You want to drill on that one, Teresa? I think there's a magnet in here somewhere. There it is.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Ooh, don't flip.
I won't even clean that up. I'll probably throw that pan away.
Gosh, yeah, that looks terrible.
It's our beautiful filter. And we have a new seal down in here you always want to replace. It'll actually be on your new filter. It'll be stuck to the neck of it. Anytime you do a service on one of these, you pull your filter down, you want to reach in and grab that and pull it out and throw it away. You don't want to ever stack two of these. This is a very nasty unit.
Look at this. I mean, even the wires and
Everything's just nasty.
Everything's just
Been very hot.
Yeah.
Very, very hot. Lockup probably quit working on this thing or something, just start cooking the fluid in the unit. And they didn't know it was happening. So this is your TV linkage here. When you push on the gas pedal, it pulls this, moves this lever, which pushes this in right here. You let off the gas, it comes back. If you notice this little nub sticking up right here, that little nub goes in the hole. And there's physically a check ball down in there. If you put a check ball in here and you put a linkage back on here without this nub, it will not work. It will not shift right. So what I do is I always leave the check ball out. That way my R&R guy doesn't make a mistake and grab a different linkage or something crazy go on and he puts it back in there with no pin. So just leave the ball out. You don't have to worry about it. Now this is your auxiliary accumulator right here for your forward engagement. Your early 700 does not have that, and your 4L60E does not have it either. These kind of a mid-year tranny. They tried to fix some things with them, and then they got away from it pretty quick after that.
That's gonna crater the part.
And just nasty, huh? So you have your temperature sensor here. Back in the day, the unit had to warm up enough for lockup to start working. And then we have a fourth gear pressure switch here. Now when we build this unit back, since he don't have no computer to tell it what to do or anything like that, what we'll do is we'll run a power key on power wire down here, and then we'll run the ground wire over here to this pressure switch. We'll put a new pressure switch in here to where whenever it goes into fourth gear, it'll ground the ground wire and ground the solenoid and turn lockup on. You can run it through the brake pedal, you can run it through a toggle switch. We run the power through the brake switch or a toggle switch, where that way you can control it a little bit better. These units like to go into fourth gear kind of at low speeds, cruising through housing areas and stuff like that. And if you tie it directly into the fourth gear switch, it could chug the motor. So that's why I like to put a toggle switch in there. That way I can kind of turn it off when I'm cruising through housing area at light throttle and stuff like that.
Well, what would you be doing cruising through housing areas, Richard?
Testing my transmission, Teresa.
Okay.
That's just it. These trannies will go into fourth gear at pretty low speeds at light throttle. So the way we tie a lockup in, no more than it goes into fourth gear, it's going to go into lockup so it could chug the motor. There's too much drag on it. I was hoping this was going to be a beautiful core to tear down, that I could just wipe it off with a paper towel and put it back together.
Yeah.
Well, that didn't happen. A manual little lever arm here, sits in here like that. If you pull the valve out, once you put this in here, see how it's made? Once you put it in there and then you put the valve body on straight, it can never come back out because it gets behind that little piece right there. So now it can never come back out unless you take the valve body off. Pretty simple. Gaskets, you want to really watch on these because I did change them because of the accumulator body right here. This is nasty. So you always just want to keep your gaskets, that way you can match everything back up. This kit would probably, it could come with 2 sets of gaskets. It hasn't showed up yet. All the parts that we're putting in this unit should be here this morning. This is called your TV valve and stuff here. This little valve right down here, if it ever sticks, and of course it's stuck right now, it won't even move. If it ever sticks forward, it'll cause really harsh and late shifts. It will not take off when you come to a stop. It doesn't want to shift out because it's like holding it in passing gear. The shift kit we got coming, we'll put a little spring behind this valve. That way when you push it, the spring will push the valve back every time. On an overhaul, this valve can stick real easy from a slight piece of trash or anything like that. Now this valve body here does not have a lockup valve in it. This right here is totally gone. The earlier 700s physically had a lockup valve right here that we could just put a check ball in the solenoid right here and it would come on after third gear no matter what because it had a valve. And some of them would come on right on top of third gear. So if you wanted to delay it, a little bit past third gear, you could actually shim this spring up inside this valve right here and kind of make it like another shift. Pretty neat. Done a lot of playing with these. Here's that check ball I was talking about. It's a bigger check ball than all the others too. Can kind of see how small that one is compared to your normal one. That one's small, that one's bigger. You can just leave this out. Just throw it away. You don't even need that big ball in there. That way, if you do change your linkages, doesn't matter which one you put on there. When I worked for another shop, a lot of the transmissions that we pulled out of their cars did not get put right back in. We'd pull one off the shelf and put it in there. So that's where, the guys would get mixed up, and if you left the check ball or something like that, if you pulled the shelf unit off and put it in the car. Man.
Yeah, I see you getting that out of there.
All the seals, everything about this thing is going to be terrible. What's crazy though, a lot of times when you get them in varnished like this, bushing wear would be minimum. You know, the planets will look good. Everything will look good. This fluid's really thick, like a 90 weight almost. Just real thick. And normally when it does that, it lubricates really good. Kind of weird how it works, but it does do that. Your seal here, big pin, style piston. Always look on these, especially to make sure the aluminum piston hasn't started touching the outer edge right here and got ruts wore down up in here. This seal, a good seal, will keep the piston off that. Or if the bore starts to wear here, when you stick it down in there and this thing just rocks like crazy, where this bore's wore out in here, then the piston will actually rub here too. So you want to check all that. You got this little 8mm bolt here, and these others two are 10s. Now you can see here there's a check ball that's being held in here with these 3 little tabs. It will not fall out. Some of these do not have those 3 tabs, and the check ball just fall out. So this has to have that check ball in there. Put a little grease, put the check ball in there, and put it on. Or when you blow it, you know, you can blow it out of these 3 tabs even. So it's just got to remember that that's there. It's got to have it. Yep, that ain't coming loose. So I'll have to work on that. This is your forward accumulator piston and spring in here. It basically looks like this stuff. Same type of piston and everything. So you want to clean it out, Scotch-Brite it. Put it all back together. Never change the spring in there. I've never blocked the piston, never done anything like that. I just leave it original. Now, this is a critical thing right here too. Anytime you get one of these units in here, if you have a 3/4 clutch failure, they had you update this plate right here. If you notice, anytime there's a ball, there's usually a hole beside it. See a ball, a hole, a ball, a hole, a ball, a hole. Unless you're in a trough, you won't have that like this here. See, you'll have 2 holes, 2 big ones. See the trough? Well, this is your 3rd gear clutch feed hole right here. So what we did is we started drilling a hole right here beside this right here. Probably about 35 thousandths right here to be fine. Use your gasket to mark it. That way you can lay your gasket on and you can see it. Now these gaskets will say valve body case. You got to see V right there. You can barely see it. And you'll flip it over. There'll be case. You don't want to get them mixed up. And like I said, your overhaul kit could come with 2 different sets of gaskets. Your earlier style gasket would not have these holes here for your auxiliary accumulator. But that drilling that hole right there will give it a better 3rd gear clutch apply. So. Now this is your 4th gear accumulator. We still block this one here, even on all 700s. 4L60s, 4L60Es, all the way up to the top, we still double stack that piston. We do not beat a check ball in the hole right here and ruin the case where we can't go back. Okay. Now also, if you notice here, we got a check ball in a trough. We have no check ball in this trough. Do not put a check ball in that trough because there's physically no hole on the other side. If you look here, you got a square hole, no hole. The one that takes a ball in the trough, see here how it's round and round, nice trough for it. But if you come over here, see, nothing there. So, and also if you look here, here's another one. If you look at the valve body, the valve body's got a trough for a ball. You drop that baby in there, doesn't it look pretty in there? But if you look at this valve body plate, it's got a square hole in the middle. Does not take, let me get that gasket right there, not in the middle. See how it's got a square hole, no hole? So you cannot put a ball there. Same way here, you cannot put a ball there. So you want to watch all that type of stuff too. It's easy to make a mistake. All these balls are just rusted up too. They're not, it's terrible looking. It'll take some cleaning to clean this mess up. People say, how do you get so many hours in these trannies? Or could you imagine cleaning this tranny up?
Yeah.
I could take it in there and put it in Teresa's dishwasher.
No.
Huh?
No.
I've seen some videos of guys doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, you just see the sludge on here. Now this is your parking assembly here. When you move your lever up on the dash, this moves, pushes this lever down, locks it into park. Drive shaft won't turn no more. Pretty simple. Tranny mount looks a little bit gone. Keep the bolts. Now if you notice here, this check ball here is about to fly out of here. It's got a little tab here and a little tab here, but it's stuck. You can actually pull that thing out and just leave it out. You don't even have to put it back in there. Okay, that's pretty simple enough. If you notice on the end of this shaft right here, where the lockup seal is, see how bad that shaft's wore out right here? It is plumb wore out on this one side.
Yep.
This side looks, okay, and over here, look at that, totally wore out. So we had to put a new input shaft in here and drum assembly. The 4L60Es will fit in here. Always want to double seal your bolts when you put them in, especially down here on the bottom. You notice this one's got fluid on it. And the other one's doesn't. This one here does and that one does. So you always want to double seal them. Got the old good seal saver, anti-blow spring, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
We always glue those on. You just don't want to pop them on. We'll put some 3M around here and then put it on. With 3M, glue the seal in too, and we glue this on at the same time. That way it physically cannot blow it off. Whew.
Goodness gracious.
Now, this hasn't been apart as far as I can tell just because of these sealing rings right here on this stator. That's a GM style looking ring there. Get it off. There it goes. So the one we'll go back with will be a solid ring, and we'll have to size it to the groove. So y'all, I mean, we clean these up, but trying to look and see how much wear the stator got on it with this bushing run here and runs here too. I mean, it still looks good. It's got some staining, just Scotch brought that up really nice. Now they did do a gasket change too on these. Right here, they added this stuff right here in this area. And right there, they added this on the 4L60 and up. 700 did not have this. This will retrofit back, but a 700 will not retrofit forward. So you want to remember that. Well, this thing's been hot. Every gasket is cooked. You know, to go back to this unit here, you're looking at 8 to 10 hours, easy, if not longer, to do it right. Because it is just so nasty. Of course, you want to look on your body all through here and here on both sides. Make sure there's no rutting. This looks really nice. So we flat file all this and try to make sure there's no dents on the edges or anything lifting up where it can hold these two pieces apart. Let's see if I can get that. boost valve and sleeve out of here. A lot of this stuff you really got to take your time. If not, you can destroy a part that you can't get, or you have to wait a couple days to get. You don't want to ever do that. A lot of this stuff's probably going to be pretty tough to get apart because it's been so hot and it's just been in there so long. Well, like I said, you have to take this whole thing apart and clean it, get the boost valve assembly out of there, but it's something I'm just going to have to take my time. I don't want to destroy a good part just from being in a hurry. Look at that.
Yeah, never seen that before.
Tell you. And you look here too, how bad the pump gear wore out on the inside of the converter sets. This could have been spaced another 1/8 of an inch almost. I'd like to see it about right there, more than, you know, halfway or under halfway. The gear's just not stable that way. Now the bushing doesn't look like a GM bushing. It's got a split down the middle right here. I don't think GM did that. Now this should have a lip right here too that keeps the bushing from coming towards the seal. You always want to drive your bushing out the back. That way if you drive it out this way, you're going to knock this off right here. It's about a little lip about that big all the way around. You'll bust it out and then you can't use the body no more. Of course, we're going to update this to a 13 vein. Whew. When they said core, they meant it. You can see the band here is just totally wiped out. Down to the rivets. Our beautiful reverse drum has got a bunch of rust on it. And then it's, of course, it's just wiped out too from the rivets rubbing on it. Now you got to remember, when you go to switching this drum out right here, especially when you're doing a 4L60, they changed the hole size in this drum right here. Hey, look at that. Let me go get another one. I got one over here. I'll show you the difference.
That's just a baby hole.
Huh?
That's a baby hole.
Right. Well, they use that hole to control fluid flow to the clutch. See that one?
Mm-hmm.
See that little tiny one?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be careful on switching these drums out. If you notice here, we got a big hole here, a little hole here. If you go to a big hole drum, you'll have a small hole here. If you put big hole, then you're going to have an issue with this clutch applying and just rattling your teeth in reverse. So definitely going to have to get a drum in here too. Whole thing's got. This was a core, huh, Tracy? Where'd that thing go? Here's my phone.
Whoever's calling, we'll call you back.
Yep, this bearing here, you always want to check it. If you get a whine in park and neutral, it won't be the pump, it could be this bearing here itself. We have a shim right here. This is selective. You want to start, if you want to set your in clearance up, you can do it right here. They don't give you many options on this right here. You can see that's an 88 or an 89. 89. So you also want to come in here. I always do this just to make sure we're not having a big old problem. Put a little fluid in there, and then blow through these holes here and make sure we don't have no air bubbles around this area right here. You can hear the clutch moving, but we don't have no bubbles here. So let me turn it. Still no air. Bubbles coming through there. Try this one here. Oh, well. Nope, I think that was just mine. Nope, look here. I thought that was me, but it's not. Watch the air come through there, right there.
Oh, yeah.
See that? Just to make sure that's not me. Let me try to cover that up a little bit better. And that way I know. Can you see it now, Teresa? Around there? So get on this side. That way I know my air blower's not shoving any air down there and moving that stuff around. See the bubbles? So we definitely got to change. We'll change the drum and the shaft when they leak like that. That's a clutch failure problem right there. So that's why we always air check them as we tear them apart instead of building the drum back, and then at the end I'm going to check this thing out and it leaks like crazy, then you got to tear it all back apart again and find another drum.
Oh, wow. Are you sure?
Here's our 3/4 clutch pack. I think we can park a car in there. This snap ring right here is really weak too now. It's all messed up. I got that snap ring completely closed up. It should have a gap like that. So it's fixing to just fall out of there.
Major problem.
Yeah, we have our load springs are still in there. But they're about the flattest ones I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Normally they stick out about that far. I say them are gone. Of course, there's our 3/4 clutch. And if you can look down in here and see what the rest of it's going to look like too. Not very good. I was sure hoping I'd have something better to work with. You got your forward clutch and your engine brake clutch. But what I was going to show you, when they, on the 700 tranny, the forward clutch was thick, and they physically put the clutch against the wave. Okay, and then stacked it on out. But when they went to the 4L60 and the 4L60 easing up, they put a steel against the wave and put thinner clutches in here to get it to stack up right. So you got to watch that. Other than that, everything else is the same. That's one messed up tranny. Look at our beautiful forward sprag assembly. Now right here, they make two different ones of these hubs right here. I like the flat one better. I mean, like I said, this is hard to tell because it's so dirty, but we could clean this up really good, inspect it, and possibly use this piece again. This is really nasty too. Just because it's nasty don't mean it won't clean up and look brand new. Okay, so you got to remember that. Change your hub, new sprag, chunk the drum. Of course, you have your lube seal. You do not want to forget that. This here, your lube oil comes through this hole here and then goes down this output shaft hole to lubricate your planets and stuff, so you definitely don't want to leave that out. And they do make an early and a late seal. So you don't want to put an early into a late tranny or vice versa. Because what they did is they moved there's a little tiny hole down in here that they moved it. And I'll show you here in a second. Of course, you got your sun gear. Our band anchor. Well, let me see if I can get the rest of this apart.
Dang, that stinks.
It does got smell, doesn't it? It's got like a burn-up smell and an age smell. I like bad gas smell. I don't know where he got this at. So Okay, we have our forward clutch ring gear and our forward planet. I say just because it looks dirty and black, it don't mean it's bad. You just want to look at the gears. You know, check your pins, make sure they're not purple. See how everything flows or spins. Check it right here where your bushing runs. This bushing right here runs right there. So you want to check that. And then we will definitely upgrade this hub here to a roller bearing style like a 4L60s have. We'll getting rid of this 4-tab washer. So we'll definitely be updating that. Look at your sun gear. We replace a lot of these too. Of course, we got this beautiful shell. You might want to take some polish and polish it up, make it look chrome again, and then throw it away.
Okay.
But normally these early ones like this, the splines are really soft and stuff. You want to change it out anyway to a later version. That way it doesn't ever strip.
Scrap metal trailer.
Scrap metal trailer. 4-tab plastic washer. They do make these in brass too. Okay. On this lube seal I was talking about, this hole right here, they put that in 2 different areas depending on what year, what seal you're using. So you got to be really careful because that hole is down here on the flat surface on the earlier versions and the seal was set right on top of it. So you got to be careful there. We're going to be replacing this shaft probably anyway. Don't look really good right here where your sun gear bushings are running. So, now we are putting a 2200 stall in this thing, and he's probably going to do a little bit of playing around. So we can get rid of the wave in the back of the unit, and then reset our clearances and stuff with steels to get the clearance set right. But this is your low reverse clutch here. This clutch here comes on, and the one here comes on that's in your drum and you back up. So, very, very old. I wasn't expecting this to be this bad. Of course, you want to look at your planet. Make sure none of these wobble. Oh, that one there, see?
Oh, yeah.
Wore out. Wore out. Really wore out. So it's going to need a planet. Anytime your gears wobble, you want to look at this ring gear because it'll put an odd pattern on here. You want to look at that really close. Of course, your sprag inner race, or excuse me, your roller clutch inner race. Your roller clutch there. If you notice here that the roller's already set crooked in there. What did I do with those orangey? See how this is? See how they're set crooked?
Yeah, I see that.
That spring's really weak, see? I can take it over and probably see how they just fell out. So these springs right here, they're already they're so weak that they won't even hold the roller in spot, see?
Yeah.
So I definitely had to put another roller clutch in here. But guys, this is one terrible core, but one thing good about it is we can make it like brand new again, huh, Teresa?
Yep.
With a lot of good parts and a lot of scrubbing it's going to take to get this one. But it's going to be cool. Like I said, we're pulling a 400 tranny out. We're going to be putting this overdrive in. It's a little 80 Chevy pickup, short bed, brand new GM motor and stuff. It's a really nice pickup. Well, guys, we want to thank you for watching. We want to thank Miss Teresa for recording. She does the best. And Miss Annie, she's always guarding the house. So y'all stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe. Push that notification bell. Have a great day.